a mom, changes do happen, right? So it wasn't until I started blogging in the second year where things started really shifting and really redirecting me in my business. And do you want me to say something about that?
Yes, please. Yes.
Great. So basically what happened, I wrote a blog in 2015 that completely changed everything for me. That blog really showed me, I had an experience that I was very joyful about and really wanted to share about. That was about a professional service I had received where the guy who was giving me the service was just really passionate with what he was doing. Mm-hmm. And it really kind of ignited something in me that was all about passion in our work and really living out our life purpose and really kind of feeling kind of sparked off with what we're doing. And that experience was fundamental because it really showed me that actually I needed to, I wanted to work as a coach, and I really wanted to support other people in that process of igniting their passion and really turning it into a business, because I had a really big business background anyway. So what the interesting thing was, so that's one of the things that I was saying in terms of benefits for business owners. It really helps you be so on track in terms of what you're aligned with. When you write about your business and when you write about the things you love, essentially what happens, it shows you that you're in the right place or not. And you want to be writing content that's going to resonate not just for your clients, but also that is the stuff you want to write about. Yeah. Just similarly to, we choose to work in niches that are to do with where our joy is. You don't choose to start a business on something you don't have a passion about.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So one of the things I've found is that, it really helps you stay aligned to your niche, to your services, to the kind of passion you have in your business. Your blog really helps keep that alive. That's certainly what it did for me. And then that process, I continued writing on my blog. I kind of retrained with Anthony Robbins. I did his accreditation coaching program. And I still continued using the tools of energy work I use with my, in my blogging program, with my one-to-one clients.
So you have this combination in a way, right? So it's not just blogging. It's about intuitively listening to what comes to you and then put that to paper. And that really resonates with readers, right?
Absolutely. And I don't know about, I think you've mentioned, Sabine, as well, that you've been open up much more to energy work over the last few years. And what I found, a lot of business owners, as part of the mindset work we do and putting a message out there, and, the whole process of becoming an entrepreneur and then being an entrepreneur and sustaining that does involve a lot of self-growth and personal development work. And a lot of the resistances and sabotages we put in our way are things that we can work so much more directly when we are bringing energy work in, which is something that I'm very passionate about and something that has worked a lot in my own personal life. And in particular, in the context of writing and getting our messaging right, but also writing content that our readers really want to read. One of the things I found, and it's every single person I worked in my blogging program so far has had this very issue. Everybody thinks they are worse writer than they actually are, and they are a worse communicator than they actually are about their message. So one of the things we've been addressing with the energy work is some of the blocks that hold us back in terms of, our limited beliefs around how good we are, both in what we do, but also in how we communicate about what we do. Mm-hmm. And I guess one of the things that I wanted to say, so there's three key things that I wanted to highlight in terms of how your business blog will supercharge your business. So one of the things that I quickly realized coming out of my maternity break and ending up fully booking an offline course that I was doing. So, and as I said, during that time of the break, I hadn't promoted myself. I just was raising my son and I was just kind of taking it easy. When I realized that one of my blog posts fully booked the course that I was running straight out of, I had taken 11 months maternity break.
Yeah.
I was amazed to see that it had the effect. And one of the things I've realized as I've been much more consistently building on my blog, scenes is that actually blogs, I really fully believe that, have kind of taken on the role of what the discovery call does for a lot of business owners. We set up a discovery call so that we communicate with potential clients, right?
It's about creating that know, like, and trust, isn't it?
Yeah. And essentially, one of the beautiful things that for me, aside to all the other the people in the audience that it can attract to us, the one thing for me that it has benefited me, and I really personally enjoy, it set up the foundation of my business, my blog, and communicating about my message, and really kind of getting a sense to really work out my positioning as well. It's just kind of really done so much for my business in that respect, because you write a number of blogs, and essentially, in my case, because I had changed my career path, I was a coach, but I didn't have any coaching programs back in 2016. I just already created a following that were, following me on the basis of what I was writing. So when I created my program after that, I was amazed to see that I had all my beta test signups have come up. And the launch was so much more smooth for me, because that had already created an audience of people that were really interested in what I had to say.
Yeah. That's really interesting. I mean, how would you, if someone's really starting from scratch and has no audience and no clue how to do this, how do you go about this?
Right. So it's a brilliant question. And also I think that because a lot of people, we are starting with no websites and no nothing and, absolutely nothing. Exactly. So the most fantastic way, and one of the things I didn't mention is I have trained I've done an accreditation in blogging with a coach, partly because I got so passionate about writing. And again, it was before I had my business was redirected. It was just more that I just wanted to learn everything about it. And one of the things he's been recommending, and I've seen it working out in my benefit as well, is guest blogging. When you're starting up, if you really want to supercharge and get a good following behind you and get people to really see your message, you want to write for online platforms like, platforms that are resonating with your niche and the kind of work you're doing, right? I specialize on business blogging. So I'm really helping business owners and entrepreneurs, because blogging is such a wide category. And the very specific things we're focusing when we have a business in growing our blog, right? So when you do want to build on your following, guest blogging is absolutely fantastic, because in my case, again, I got hundreds of people liking my page. I got tons of signups on my email, on my newsletter, and the process of that I really take through people. I break it down into my program more properly. But it's a fantastic visibility tool, and personally, it's given me a huge boost, because, as I said, I gain that confidence from having some people commenting and just getting back to me, and just seeing, when you spend time in Facebook and you share a post and you see 10, 15, 20 people, 50 on a good day liking it, but then you write a guest blog and that's one post and you get 3,500 people viewing it. That's a huge shift energetically and huge exposure.
Exactly. It's amazing. I mean, with Facebook as well, things are getting lost, right? On the blog, it's not getting lost. All the things are in one place, and you can harness, and maybe you can reuse some of the things again. You can bring stuff out again, right? I'm really very versatile when it comes to that, how you want to shape the blog. You can maybe put in a quiz as well in between, have a little sign up button to harness, the visitors that come onto your page as well. Because ultimately you want to actually create some leads, you want to create interest, or maybe even sell a program, right? So you've got this one place which is outside of Facebook, but they may see other things on your blog as well, right? They're interested in.
That's a great point, actually, Sabine, because one of the things I guess I'm very big on personally is creating community and really building on that factor of trust and reliability. I really want my audience to get to know me, who I am and how I share and what I'm about. You've got your value system, you've got your ethics, you've got your particular sensibility, and all those things are elements of your brand. And essentially your online space becomes that home for those interactions and that trust to build. Yeah. So one of the beautiful things about having a blog is you build on your brand, and you're kind of really harnessing that community element, that in a way it's not just about, this is my services, a little bit about me. You've got a whole bunch of posts there that people can get to know you from. And also one of the guest teachers on my program, who's a PR expert, she said the bigger media won't really look at your, getting at your expertise, on asking for your help or featuring you if you don't have at least 25 blogs on your website.
I heard about that as well. So it is a good thing to use to build that up. Now, Samaya, can you just share what you're going to be launching next week? And I'd really love all the viewers to come and join in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So because of the hearing that information from the PR strategist around bigger PR, bigger media as well, what I basically at the moment, I'm just inviting people to join me at this totally free and really fun planning of blog creation. Okay, so it's a 5-day challenge that's taking up on the 28th of May. I'm so excited about it because we're really diving into, first of all, it's free. And one of the issues I identify with a lot of my audience is that there is just the planning. The business owners, they're busy. Planning content is quite a big thing. So what we're going to do is focusing on creating and planning content for blogs for the next 6 months.
Wow, and that's amazing. I'm so super excited that you're doing this challenge, Samaya.
Yeah, I'm so, yeah.
You've got the link. I just want to make sure if you can go into the description, there is the Samaya's link. So Samaya, whatever lead pages, and then business blog challenge. Okay, so click on that and get registered. So when are you starting, Samaya?
We're starting on the 28th of May. It's going to be at it's 3 p.m. British time, but it's 10 a.m. EST time because a lot of my clients are done that way. But and even
if recording it as well, right? So if people can't make it live, they can watch.
So everybody who comes on board, they're going to be on a Facebook group. There's going to be questions. I'm going to really hold people's hand to create that challenge. It takes 15 minutes of their time. We're asking 5 very deep, soulful questions that will unearth incredible amount of content.
I can't wait. I'm in. I'm all in. I need the content.
I'm excited you're coming.
I'm always stuck for content. And I can't wait to learn the process, and I can't wait to see. And I am going to share this with the ladies as well, what I've come up with, what I've created.
That would be wonderful.
My group as well. So most definitely.
And just to make sure that everything gets logged on, everyone gets their own blog planner PDF. So all of it is going to be there. They can save it. And it's just like, there's no excuses to creating content.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Samaya. I'm so excited to come in on the challenge. What's the challenge called? Is it business?
The challenge is called, it's 5-day challenge, plan 6 months worth of magnetic blog content. And and it's just, again, it's about really kind of, it will be about 25 blog posts if it was just like a weekly one. So I want the ladies who have businesses to have this link so that bigger media can be connecting with them as well, and they have that foundational blog down on their website. But we're only going to plan it. They're not going to have to write the post. So it's going to be 15 minutes of their time daily on the challenge, and the Facebook group is going to give a lot of support there for everyone. So I'm going to be there hands-on.
Wow, amazing. I look forward to that, and I'd love to have as many of you come and join us, right? Because we all want to be visible. We want to create that visibility. We want to create that connection with our soul clients, and blogging is a fantastic way to do that, especially because it's so busy on Facebook. And from my experience as well, I didn't think I needed a website, but obviously I have a website and a blog all included. The blog is included in my website, but I see a lot of people actually hopping on and then giving me, feedback. Say, oh, I've seen this. And it's like, oh, I'm so surprised, right? People do have a look and research you, and is really good to have something out there that holds that space and your thoughts.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a journal, and it's a place where you can actually present your ideas.
Yeah. I mean, in my case, it led to 2 big book opportunities. One of which is from a big publishing house in London, and that was pretty huge thing. So I want people to see that the opportunities and the visibility can open up doors that we might not anticipate, because I did not see that coming. I'll be very honest with you. And actually, and even if you don't have a website, that's why I was going back to the guest blogging opportunity. I had a really basic website. But even if you have a Facebook page, guest blogging, which is one of the things I teach on my program actually, is a very big part of it in terms of growing list, getting more interest from people. And even if you don't have a website, they can check out your Facebook page anyway. You know, you can have that as a link.
It's true.
So it should not stop people not having a great website to not creating content.
Yeah. Fabulous. Thank you so much, Samaya.
My pleasure.
Thank you to your challenge.
Me too.
And it was a pleasure having you as a guest. So
thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So
see you soon.
See you soon. Yeah. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
So, whilst we say bye to Samaya, I'd like to just briefly introduce next guest, which is Gloria Prest. So Gloria, if you are there, come and join us in the Zoom room. And I'm very excited to talk about stress, because I think it's something that is, you know, that every one of us suffers. And Gloria is actually one of my clients who I help with in terms of putting her offering together, sales pages and webinars and things like this. So yeah, hi Gloria. I'm just talking about, you know, that people talking about stress. You might have to just come out of live stream, and then otherwise we do each other. Things like this. So yeah, hi Gloria.
Hi.
Talking about, you know, that we were talking about stress. You might have to just come out of the live stream, and
I might have to come out,
twice.
Right. Right. I can't see you at the moment.
I was saying, Gloria, that you're one of my clients, and every time we meet, we actually have this amazing conversation about other things that is going on in an entrepreneur's head and life, really. And it's not only entrepreneurs that we're talking about, it's actually generally, you know, people are suffering stress, and more, even if you're working in the corporate environment, there's so much pressure nowadays. And, you know, Gloria, who better to talk about stress that, you know, than with Gloria, because Gloria is actually psychotherapeutic counselor.
I know.
And hypnotherapist, and she is working with people to improve their mental resilience and health, right?
Yep, that's right. So yes, it's a bit of a
we always have this discussion, right, about, so, you know, who's actually suffering from stress. And then Gloria is talking about, you know, depression and burnout, and I was like, well, I don't really understand the difference. And, you know, I don't think a lot of people would kind of admit that they could be suffering from depression or even burnout, because it's like a quite a sort of scary place to go. But then Gloria said, well, there is a process, there is a progression. I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. I mean, obviously all of us keep on saying like, oh, I'm so stressed, right? We all kind of stressed at some point. And I think we just need to tackle this topic and talk about, well, what if we get overly stressed, and how do we know that we got overly stressed, and what could it lead to? And we'll explain those terms as well around burnout and depression, which is like, oh my gosh, that sounds really bad.
Yeah, well, it's all of us get stressed at one point or another, and that's perfectly normal. There is nothing wrong. When I looked at that stress, burnout, because I thought, oh my God, people are not going to even look at it because it'll be scary. It's not scary at all. It's just understanding the process. Stress is there for a really good reason, and you have to look at it from an evolutionary point of view. We are, as a species, here because we used to get stressed about danger, and it created a response to get out of danger. Mm-hmm. So in a very short sort of very, very fast way of explaining it, it's there to get us out of danger. But the problem we have now is that what triggered stress before, I know I'm talking about thousands of years ago, but even hundreds of years ago, was actually literally life-threatening. So that response got us out of being killed by another tribesman or being eaten by a lion or whatever. But now we get a stress reaction when your boss is telling you off, when you're late to collect the kids, when your bills come and you're not sure whether you're going to. So the thing is, we have a very clever, very well evolved brain, but in fact an old brain in some ways in a modern society.
Yeah.
So what we need to understand is how it works and realize that sometimes we need that stress, and stress is actually good in some cases, but we need to differentiate when it is necessary, when it's good, and when it's really not justified, because if it's long term, if it carries on for a long period of time and becomes chronic, then it has really adverse effects on your body, because it was designed for just a very short burst. Run away fast, fight fast. It's a flight and fight response. Get out of danger, and then that's it.
Exactly. That's not relevant anymore nowadays, really. I mean, it's not like we're getting into danger. Like, if you go to work, maybe you're in the firing line, you got to do a presentation, and it's like you get all like kind of like panic, stress.
Yeah, sadly, it depends on where you live. If you are actually in Syria, then you are in danger.
You're right.
So
in a war zone, and
it's still relevant to us as humans, but where we live in our society at the moment, if nothing changes, it's not necessary to be all the time in alert. And what I want to talk to you today is about understanding the physiology of stress and what to do to calm it down when it's not necessary. So if you're out in the road and you see a bus coming your way, just jump out and you need the stress, get out of the way, right? But if you're just going along your business, you think, oh my God, like perhaps this morning, this thing is not working, that's not working. It's natural to get stressed, but you know that life doesn't depend on it.
Yeah.
And just knowing that in your mind allows you to just not let that escalate to a degree where you will really get stressed to the point of sort of losing your logical sort of side of the brain. So what I want to do is to explain that there is good stress that has a purpose, but also there is a little bit of stress is good because it gets you, I must be ready, I must do that. It gives you that proverbial kick in your backside, and that blog must be finished and published by that date. So if we were so relaxed, we wouldn't do anything.
Yeah. So
it's nice to have that little bit of, right, get on with it. You have this. That's what we call eustress. It's good because it gives you to do something. Because when you're a slightly bit stressed, you get more focus.
Yeah.
And you get more of that. It's just almost like...
It's good stress.
Yeah, it's good stress. And it's also almost like, when you boil milk, you want the milk warm. So you get it at the right temperature, it's perfect, it's warm. If you overdo it, it then spills and it ruins everything. So with stress, a little bit like not overdoing it. Just if you have a little bit, just bring it down to the level that's useful, not let it carry on.
Right. And how do you do that? How do you do that when you're in that situation?
Right. The thing is there are different things that to understand stress, just looking quickly at some of my notes, you need to know how the physiology works. And that sounds right, but how it works in your body. Because basically, you have to think that your brain is divided in three major parts. One is the automatic part of the brain. And if you think somebody describe it as if you had a fist, okay, now can you see that? Now this part at the back here would be the oldest part of the brain, and that's where all the automatic things go, like how to move your legs to walk, how to breathe, how to cycle, how to think. Everything that you learn, even language, first you make a lot of effort with this part of the brain, which has the logical part, thinking, learning, and then it becomes automatic and it goes to the back, and there it is for you use at any time. So there is another part of the brain in the middle, the limbic, that is where the emotions and where the fear goes. So when you get a very strong reaction and you get really a strong fear, what happens is that this part in the middle sends the signal for the automatic safety part at the back, and then what comes is that the logical part is completely offline. So you've lost the plot, basically. Mm-hmm. You can't think logically anymore. I don't know whether that makes any sense. But when you get to a certain level, because it was designed for you to get out of the way fast, or to fight very hard, or to play dead. There are 3 responses to stress, to very serious stress. And that's where you get the panic attacks and so on. It's so that you get out of, but doesn't need logic. Logic is too slow. If you start thinking, oh, maybe I'm in danger, maybe there is nothing, maybe you're just gone, you've been eaten. So, but we know that when we reach a level, then you frontal part of the brain, which is the thinking part, the logical, gets disconnected. It doesn't have a look into it. So that's what we want to do to avoid getting there. And what happens if you stress today and you stress tomorrow and you stress, the level at which you will respond will become slower and lower. It lowers the trigger point. This is why it's very important that people learn to relax and learn to do things like take a deep breath. Those things really, truly help. Mm-hmm. So the way that I can explain, I don't know whether this is becoming a little bit too difficult or scientific, but you have to think that you have 2 parallel systems, okay? Two nervous sort of network, a network of nerve connections, or a nervous system, right? One is when you need to get out quickly, and that gets you heart to pump harder because you need blood to run faster, and it goes to your limbs to run or to hit. So it takes it from the front of your head, which is the thinking part. So that's one of the reasons why you have that losing the plot. So that's interesting. But it creates a lot of it creates a cascade of hormones that make you more aware of noise or things, much more focused on that moment, which is perfect if it's just one moment. But if not, what happens is they go around your body, circulate in your body, and they damage lots of systems in your body. So long term, it creates a lot of deterioration in organs, it creates memory loss, it creates all sorts of things if it's constant. So you wanted a short pass and then leave it.
Right.
So when
So how could it then escalate, like stress into like burnout and depression? I mean, what's that all about? What is burnout, and what's depression, and what are the differences? So in a nutshell, so that we...
In a nutshell, right. If you're constantly, your body is, imagine that you have a factory, okay? And you have a really big turnout of stuff, and you busy, functioning. You never stop at all for maintenance. Eventually, the machinery will burn out.
Right, okay.
So that's the same with you and with your mind. What happens is if you constantly, you're damaging some of your parts, particularly, some of the memory and the logic part of it, and you don't get any, you don't stop to repair. When you sleep, when you relax, the body goes into repair mode and will repair all the systems. It will, sort of regenerate and, sort of repair cells or recreate new cells. If you never give it a chance, eventually it literally can't cope anymore. And that's when you will have a breakdown.
Right, okay.
But that's quite severe, but it does happen. But also the other thing that happens.
I mean, how would you just be ill, or and you feel like not getting out of bed, or what's the symptoms of that of
the
burnout?
symptoms of depression, which is quite the burnout is basically what somebody would call it a breakdown, which tends to be quite severe. But sometimes people just have less dramatic and just, I'm not going to do anything about my business. I can't look at it. I'm not going to do any play with the kids. It starts, it's like depression is losing your will to enjoy things, your will to do things. Depression is when some people have a very flat mood. They don't feel anything, just sadness. It's just really almost a deadened feeling. And it's very normal for people to get that when you've had a great loss, when you've lost a loved one. So that's grief. Depression comes with grief, is natural.
Right.
If you have, if you're made redundant, that's quite a natural sort of thing. But normally people will recover and get over it. But when it's burnt out, it's because you constantly, you actually have been in a constant stress for so long that your body can no longer and your mind can no longer function as normal.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I've been working super hard for this episode today, and I'm like, I can't wait for the weekend now. And I do feel I get such a buzz out of doing this and organizing and working in my business. But I guess even if you get a buzz, because the buzz keeps you going, right? And that's
the buzz is good.
Where do you start recognizing that it's almost like too much buzz and you've got to slow down? Because obviously other people around you will see, hey, hang on, I think you got to slow down, otherwise you'll be maybe running on overspeed. You're going like 100 miles an hour and maybe your engine burns out as well.
Yeah, it is very important to take care of yourself in the way of, some people use meditation, some people use yoga, some people walk in the car. You have these moments of excitement, which are fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You need to compensate with moments of calmness so that you give your body and your mind a chance to recover. Also, the things that would stress you, would be different from the things that stress anybody else, because what's happened to you as a child, as a grown woman or whatever, your experiences will make some things be like a trigger for your stress or a trigger for your fears that would have nothing to do with someone else, and that would be cool as a cucumber. So it's very, very personal.
Yeah.
So that's why I get people to figure out what it is that causes stress to them particularly. Some people are perfectionists, which is very good if you want to do things very well, but for mental health is a no-no. If you're a perfectionist, then you're in trouble, because perfection is not attainable. It's just not possible. And if I have to explain one thing that's important in understanding stress, and in many other things, is mind the gap. It is the gap of what you think you should be doing and what you are able to do or you feel you can do. And if there's a big gap, then that's where the stress is. So if the situation is very demanding and you don't think you have what it takes, you're going to be stressed. If you want perfection and you're human, you're going to be stressed. And it's that gap, that differentiation that becomes stressful. But there are ways where you can relax and can't accept things. First of all, if you have a perfectionism or you have things that trigger, go get someone to actually work with you, what it is, where does it come from, figure that one out and sort it so it doesn't continue to trigger. So you could go to a counselor, you could go to someone, you could even talk it with friends. What is it that causes you that stress? Why are you a perfectionist? What makes you want to be perfect? And it could be something that happened to you at school. I don't know, it's everybody's different. But when you relax and you do things like walking, meditation, laughing with your friends, then you remember I talked about two parallel systems. The parallel system that you use when you're relaxing is the one that's used also for regeneration and repair. So when you're relaxing, it doesn't only just feel nice. Actually, you are doing very important work to your body and your brain.
So very important to relax this weekend.
Very important.
And it's sunshine anyway. And I think, I don't know, does weather influence your mood and, you know, being less stress as well?
Yeah, lots of things, but there are physical things also that you can do, because this parallel nervous system, the relaxing one, I'm not going to give it the name, this is a funny one, but the relaxing one, it gets it's almost like a switch. You can switch it on and off sometimes. So you're going to switch it on, and you don't have time to go for a walk in the woods or talk to your friends. Just deep breathing. Just breathe deeply, right down to your belly. Take a few deep breaths. And this is what happens when people have shocks or accidents or whatever. Everybody is breathe in, and actually that is the trigger for the nervous system that is the calming and repairing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but there are also things you can do, like some yoga movements or things like that, but also pressure points. You know, you have like there on your middle of your hand, you can just press there, and that pressure point is like an acupuncture point that sort of relaxes. There are ways of stimulating that part of the nervous system to come on and to sort of bring you down and calm you down, because it is important. If you keep on at a constant rate, then you will end up being triggered more constantly with more stress, and eventually it doesn't always learn to lead, but it switches off your logic part of the mind a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not good for business, and that's not good for dealing with a family, because when you're stressed, you're less patient with the kids, less patience with your husband. So it has got a lot of implications. And the also thing is, constant chronic stress causes inflammation in the body.
Right. So
and that's one link.
Physical impact.
Oh yes, there is a very important physical impact, and that's what's been discovered more recently. There is a link between inflammation and depression. So if you have inflammation in the body, nothing has happened to you, there is no reason to be stressed, you haven't been particularly stressed, but if you have inflammation in your body, there is likelihood that you're more prone to have depression. And the link is not exactly quite understood, but there is a very strong research proving that. So people who have chronic illness, sometimes they're depressed and they think, yes, of course, I have a chronic illness. It's quite natural to be depressed. But then they turn out actually is the inflammation that they have in their body that is linked to the depression. So that's because when you are stressed, all the hormones I was telling you are in your body. They are there doing some damage, because originally when you were in the jungle or whatever it was and you were in a very stressful situation, your body was preparing for receiving an injury. So when you have an injury, when you actually have a cut or whatever,
right,
it does get okay, and the inflammation. So when it's stress, the body sometimes signals, right, injury is coming. And of course, in our normal daily life, not living in places like Syria, injury is not coming, but the body is ready for it. And the fact that it hasn't have an injury, it somehow injures the body. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I don't know whether.
Wow, it's very, very deep, and you know, it's interesting to understand what that there is that physical connection there.
It is very strong, and it's a system that functions perfectly well if we understand it and know how to stop.
Right, and you got something that helps stop, right? You got something for us.
Yes, I've got. What I've got is a questionnaire, so it's not a. But if people want to get the questionnaire, it will tell you, it gathers whether you are suffering from normal everyday stress, which everybody is, or whether you are more constantly stressed, and then they can just call me. I'm quite happy to talk to them for half an hour, because it is a system where you can figure out, you need to figure out which is your stress, so figure out what your triggers are, and when you figure out that trigger, you have to analyze that particular trigger. Okay, what is it a threat to me? Is it a physical threat? Is it my ego that's threatened? Is it life-threatening, or is it really not important? And then you respond accordingly, and you figure out, okay, I've got a response when this happens, I do this, and that's not particularly good. So when you figure out what the stress is, and you classify what level of stress you have, is it relevant, is it not relevant, what's the damage going to do, and then you put it into context, and you find an alternative way of behaving that is much better for you, and then slowly you make that the automatic one, because at the moment the way you responded last time when you're stressed is the way you respond, because the brain is too busy to figure out new techniques all of the time. Whatever worked last, we'll do it again.
Right.
And it's trying to get good things, good responses, putting on the automatic part of the brain, so that you can use those ones when needed. Of course, if something is coming towards you, you need to jump out and get out of the way quickly. So you don't want to completely say, I don't want any stress response or any anxiety or whatever. That's just not possible, because
it's not possible. So it's about accepting and being aware, and just taking conscious steps to, to have that break and to relax, and perhaps use some, I don't know, listen to music or any of the meditations, or just go for a walk and stuff like this, just to calm down again, right? To change the state of your brain.
That is it, and it's particularly important because as women particularly seem to think, okay, resting is almost like is selfish, or if you're very busy with house, with the kids, with lots of things, you feel, oh, it's a bit selfish, I should be doing something, I should be doing something all the time, because doing something is productive. Well, resting is not productive, but in fact, resting, obviously not being flat out and doing nothing, but resting when necessary is more productive than not resting, because if you do not rest, you will end up being not productive, because your mental capacity will be impaired. So just just now and then, just allow yourself to chill, and don't feel guilty. Don't feel guilty. Yeah. That's your repair time. That's the important thing.
So with the questionnaire that the ladies can download, it's pretty much giving an indication around how stressed we are, and then you also give some suggestions around what to do, right?
I just
in the description,
if they want to suggest, it's very individual, they can just contact me, and then I can send them something else that they can, just for free as well. I will send them something else to figure out. I didn't put it in there, but there it has. I don't know what, I'll show it to you. I've got some forms here, which is very much analyzing, sorry, I'm going to put, well, it's like, what's the trigger when you get very stressed? What are your thoughts and what's your behavior? And then later, as I said, you sort of think of the situation that triggers you, and then it's at a high level of danger, it's medium, or is it low, and sort of analyzing it. It's a more personal, but this is more personal. And if they email me, I'll send that to them.
Why don't you do it that way? Like if they sign up on the stress level questionnaire.gr8number8.com, and why don't you once you obviously get their email addresses, right? You put in so ladies put in their email and name, and then you can just send it out, right? So first, it's about doing the questionnaire, and there's about 10 questions there.
It's a very quick. It's just 10 questions.
It gives you kind of a level of score around how stressed you are, and then the second part will be a bit of a brainstorm, right? So that
but anybody who wants you're welcome to a half an hour consultation with no obligation. But yes, if you're in business, if you're a mother, you're going to have stress in your life. It's normal. It's not dangerous. It's just knowing how to handle it.
And be aware. Yeah, fantastic, Gloria. Really, thank you so much for coming on as a guest. I'm super excited that you're making this questionnaire available and helping women to de-stress and to really analyze where they are, and that stress is okay. However, too much stress can lead to burnout and to depression. So, and thank you so much for clarifying also the terminology around that, because, you know, quite frankly, I didn't think like I've ever been depressed really, but maybe I have been, right?
It just depends on, you know, a little bit of depression sometimes. It's a low mood. It's when people get stuck.
It's the thing when people get stuck, and then it's about, right, people, you know, ask for medication and stuff like this, where it gets really serious, and then that.
Yeah, I think, you know, that would be another conversation, because my views on medication are a bit, but yes, people, the thing is, sadly these days, you go to the doctor, you have depression, immediately the pills, and never deal with the underlying issue.
Okay, so there's a conversation to have. Yeah,
you need to figure out the underlying
what's the root cause. Yeah,
all right?
Because you're just killing the emotions, I guess.
Feeling.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Gloria.
Okay. Thank you.
Lovely to have you. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, fantastic. So we are ready for Lucy. And while I'm sending Lucy the link, I just want to remind you, ladies, that the Reach for Greatness Club is open, where we will have all the replays. The speakers are coming in. We will have weekly themes as well. We have training in there. We've got mini challenges. It's going to be an amazing community. So if you'd like to come and join us in the Greatness Club, then there is a link in the description. I'm going to read it again. So, and it is actually Founders Month. So it's brand new, so you can get in for really low price a month. It's learn more about .info/greatness club. And Lucy, you are upside down or sideways, but it's fabulous to have you here.
Hold on, bear with me.
No worries. I'm just going to do a quick introduction whilst Lucy's getting herself sorted. We are going to talk about how energy and alignment can empower you to be authentically be you, and helps you to manifest anything you want in life. Now, Lucy is a fantastic lady. We've met a long time ago, right? And we kind of kept in touch online, and I realized that we only live about 5 minutes around the corner from each other. And Lucy is actually a shaman and a manifesting coach and a spiritual mentor, supporting women to uncover their true essence beneath conditioning, childhood adversity, and everyday worries and stresses. And it's about empowering them to shine their light and show up authentically as a real them, like women, with ease and flow. And I can't wait to talk about this. We had a quick pre-chat yesterday, and there's so many things that actually came up for me. So Lucy, over to you, just very briefly. Tell us what you do, and you know, and enlighten us.
Thank you, Sabina. So hi everyone, I'm Lucy Tobias. As Sabina said, I'm a shaman, manifesting coach and spiritual mentor. I work with women who are looking for real transformation. Areas of their life simply aren't working for them. And through a unique offering that I have, where I combine shamanic energy medicine, manifesting coaching, and mentoring, we work to really uncover where the issues in their life stem from, whether that's childhood or experiences in this life, or sometimes past lives as well. And we remove the heavy energies that are associated with where all of those things began, so that clients can step freely into their life and be who they truly are at an essential level, and create and manifest from that place, instead of manifesting from things that didn't work, manifesting from a place of limiting beliefs, a place in the subconscious, where they don't want this stuff, but they're just manifesting more of it.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because every time I speak to you and I say, oh, this is what happened to me, and then you're like, well, is there something going on in your life that reflects that? It's like, yes. Well, is there? Right? Like, we talked about things like childhood. We can talk a little bit about our childhood, but things that actually come up in our daily lives. And I think everyone's experiencing some kind of situations where they feel uncomfortable, perhaps, or where they feel some sort of negative energy from other people. Like, for example, when you go networking, right? You walk into a room full of people, and then there are those that you actually more drawn towards, and you want to engage with them, and just by looking at their body language, for example. And then there are those where when you kind of start conversation, you actually don't know how to continue the conversation. It's just not flowing, and you get like a sort of a sense of negativity. And it's about, how do you perhaps deal with that? And you said to me, well, is there something that's going on in your life that reflects that? So, or in your childhood? I'd love to talk a little bit more about that, because this is all about your being and how you reach out in the world and how you deal with situations. And it can be at work as well, because obviously there's working colleagues that may send some sort of negative vibes, or you're just not getting on, or you just feel like there's a block when you're working with someone.
That's it. And for me, everything in our life is there for a reason. Whether it's somebody's that you meet somebody, for example, at a networking thing, and usually, you're a bubbly networker. I'll use myself as an example. Networking is something I enjoy. I enjoy meeting people. I find it something that comes naturally, communicating with others. But of course, there are times where I might meet somebody at a networking, or something, my usual way of being is a little bit off. And for me, if a particular person that I've met has, I've noticed it when I've met that person, to me, I see that person as a messenger, somebody that has brought something to my attention that maybe I might have ignored before. So for shaman, we believe everything happens here in us.
Yeah.
So sometimes people come to me and they say, well, this happened to me. Someone did this to me. And people experience all manner of adversity and trauma through their life. From when we're little children to, we're just playing in the playground and another kid whacks us or steals our toy, or we're a small child and we have another sibling that comes along, or everything that happens to us and the experiences that we have from other people. If we bring them home to ourselves, that's where we can make the change and we step into our own power. And so this is something that I work with my clients to empower them so that whatever they have experienced in their life, they can step back into the driving seat of their life, and through their feeling body, their emotional, physical feeling body, that is the system that we use as the guidance of where we begin to work. How does something feel for them? And that's where we take it, and if someone has experienced, they might have experienced an abusive relationship, either a partner relationship or a friendship, somebody in their family, whatever that may be. If they bring it home and and we work through what that experience has made them feel like, that's where we begin.
Mm-hmm.
And then from that, we can remove any limiting beliefs, any energies that are associated with that sometimes we experience adversity or trauma and we don't want to recreate it. but there's something in us that's attached to that. And until we've cleared it, we will get new opportunities to see it, to heal it, that will be kind of brought in our face. And there are odd little things that happen to us, and we don't want to necessarily be working with every little adversity. You know, we've got someone that bashes our trolley in the supermarket.
Yeah.
You know, it's no biggie.
That's dealing with stress then. As we just talked about stress with Gloria.
Exactly, but little things, you know, those things we can let go. But it's when things happen to us and we have an adverse reaction. So let's say, for example, someone bashes your trolley in the supermarket and suddenly you feel extreme anger or extreme upset. Something that creates significant emotion or significant feeling in us, that is a sign for there's some work to be done.
Yeah.
So
for example, you know, I'm thinking back. So, for example, you know, stressful situations at work, or where perhaps you were bullied as a in childhood, for example. You know, would you talk through those situations and bring those up again and work through that with your clients?
So we, unlike a psychotherapist, we don't talk it out. It's almost like we look for the seed of the beginning. So let's say somebody is experiencing some challenge in their life currently, maybe with a current relationship, partner, work colleague, client, something they're experiencing challenge in that. And through the process of my work, I track back with the client. So I guide the client through a process to enable them to track back to see where this actually began. And then they might be called to talk to me about something that happened in the playground. And that's what we use. That's the root. And then we clear from the root. But we don't talk it out. I don't, you know, the talking aspect of a shamanic energy medicine session is limited, because talking is in the conscious and we want to work at the subconscious level and clear from that place.
Wow, it sounds really fascinating. And I know it's really, this is the first time really when I came across, you know, and speaking to you about this, that there's always something in there, like a mirror image. If something happens to you, like, you know, bad luck, or I don't know, washing machine breaks down, or or something like this, that it's a reflection of what is
something else
in you.
Exactly. It's showing you something. Yeah, so let's say you've had what one might call a run of bad luck. You know, you've had the car break, the washing machine's broken, you know, and suddenly you've got lots and lots of bills that have come from nowhere. That is showing you something. Or that's showing one something. And it's not a coincidence. It's a guidance measure of there's something more here. You know, things happen as human beings. Yes, of course, our cars break, you know, our things in our homes need repairing, like the boiler. But if you've had something and it seems like significant, so you've had lots of things maybe where you've had to have big investments for your home, your garden, your car, then it's a little bit more. It's something more. So it's really it's almost like, how I like to think of it is, it's in your face. When something is in your face, then that's the time that you can say, okay, I need to see this. I need to work with this. And that's when my clients come to me, because they've got to the stage where they're like, okay, I need to do something differently. What's happening in my life is so there in my awareness and in my face, and can you help me to change it?
Let's say you see the signs of the universe and you think, oh, hang on, because with me there's always three things that come together, three good things or three bad things.
Yeah, and different people have different ways that they know, but it's when it's a big thing and you're like, oh, something's not right here, and I don't know, I might, and some people have tried a number of things. So a client I worked with earlier this week, and we've been working together since last year, and this year she's had tremendous transformation. And she sat here in this room. This is where I do face-to-face sessions with clients. And she said to me, I was talking to a family member and I was saying to them, I've done loads of counselling before and that just didn't work. And this is just totally different. And I feel like a different person.
Yeah. That's very powerful. That's so powerful. And especially because it comes within, right? The answers are within you.
That's it. And that's the key thing that I want to give to my clients, or to enabling them, is for them to really know their own intuition, know themselves, so that they can become their own teacher, their own guidance system, and that they are in charge and in the seat of their own power. Not power from a Donald Trump perspective, but power from deep within, in our belly, as women, our feminine power, where we create from our power center. That's where we create the world that we want to live in.
Yeah. And how I have an idea of what the answer would be. I'll ask you anyway, and I think it's worth sharing because I've been part of your amazing challenges previously in your Facebook group. So how would you recognize or claim your power? How can you find the answers within you?
So that is really about uncovering your true soul's essence. So we all have a soul, but sometimes parts of our soul detach. So through sometimes childhood experience, so through adversity, I'll say adversity because it sometimes can be adversity in adulthood. Yeah. In order for our soul to stay whole and intact, a part of it detaches so that it's not affected by the trauma. And so some of the work that I do with my clients is soul retrieval. And so it brings back their essential self so that they know what they really want and they're able to articulate it. And it's like they're whole. And that's the place that when they're really able to manifest what they truly want. And that's why the combination of the work that I offer brings together so much for clients, because the shamanic energy medicine really does transform at an energetic level. And then I have the law of attraction tools to support my clients in enabling them to quickly bring in and manifest what they really want. I've been working with manifesting myself for a number of years, manifested a beautiful home, amazing things, holidays. I've manifested some amazing holidays. I've been to the Maldives, Mauritius, Kenya, Peru, my own spiritual journey when I went and worked with the shaman in Peru. And I love to share with others that they can have whatever they want, as soon as they, as Abraham Hicks would say, launch a rocket of desire, a desire in their mind. They are beginning to create that, and the universe is rearranging itself to bring that to them. Now, obviously, between that point where they launch the rocket of the desire and the manifestation comes, there's a time period. It could be a couple of hours, it could be a year. We'll use those for simplicity. And of course, what they do in between those times can enable what they want to come to them, or they can push it away. And that's the coaching that I support my clients with, to enable them to really bring in what they want.
Yeah. And this is an interesting conversation, because I mean, I come from a business background and pretty much a hard-nosed sort of business environment, where I was managing projects, where I was coaching people in leadership and things like that, right? And there was no talk of energy in the corporate world. We didn't really talk that much about, you know, energy and manifestation as such. And I realized last year that some big piece was missing in my business. And this is where, you know, we started to have this conversation, and I've completely found what I want to do. I've completely found my zone of genius, and that has had a ripple effect around me. And I think this is what it really is. It's about retrieving that part that's sort of really hidden somewhere because of past lives, because the past life, I guess, your story, your history, you know,
your history.
I guess where how you've been molded into performing a certain role, you know, in a certain job or in a certain place, because quite often we are, you know, molded into something which doesn't always align with who we are, but we just go and do it because we need the money or because we're expected to do it.
Because we have a story. We have a story that, or a dialogue that says, I need to do this. And this is part of sometimes our conditioning, or a story that we've formulated in our mind. And that's another part of my work, is really pulling away stories, so that clients can step forward truly and follow their own intuition of, you know, that's not right for me. I was meant to do that, but I'm going to step away from it because it's not right for me. Yeah. I'm really tuning into that energetically, of listening to that inner voice when you get the message. You know, how many of us have had a plan to go to dinner, go to an event? You know, I remember a couple of years ago, I'd seen this event, a one-day event. It was a free event run by some coaches, and I was going to go to it. And then something in me said, that's not meant for you. And I cancelled my place. I didn't just not show up. I did cancel my place. But how many of us push through and say, well, I said that I would be there, so I'm going to go. And when we ignore our intuition, we minimize it. And really, we want to build that relationship with our intuition so that we can follow our true calling.
But then it's also about having the courage to say no, or, I mean, you know, sometimes we're kind of forced to do it because we need the money, or we're expected to turn up at the dinner because of the in-laws or whatever, you know. It's not always that easy, is it?
Exactly. It's not, but this is a real kind of place where my clients feel empowered to say that, because there are 100 different ways where you can say, you know, I'm unable to make it, or not coming. And some people kind of, the thought of that, it brings up that, oh God, like, oh, you know, how am I going to say that? And that's not what we want. We want to come from that place of alignment where we feel safe and secure, able to voice our own truth. And once we can do that, we create a space for others to do it in our family and our networks.
Yeah.
And so giving my clients almost that bravery baton, and that all that they need to live the life they want.
Okay. Yeah. Because obviously it's not that simple, but yeah, it's about being brave and saying in a way that feels aligned.
That's it. Yeah, it is. And it is being true to yourself. You know, if you can be true to yourself, you know, sometimes people really value that. And it's all about how it's said, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then people are able to empathize if you can say things from an aligned place rather than out of alignment energy space where, oh God, you know, like, I'm sorry, I can't come.
Yeah.
It's very different.
Think of an excuse very quickly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, and it's also sometimes, you know, giving clients the ability to have that conversation. It's not about the going somewhere or not going, but voicing their truth. And through being able to feel in their power center where they can have conversations about things which maybe for 20, 30, sometimes even 40 years, they haven't been able to have those honest conversations where tell somebody that they know, this is how I truly feel.
Yeah. That's beautiful. It's beautiful, Lucy. So before we go, I just want you to share, where can we find you? And I know that's going to be a great place because Lucy does amazing challenges, like it is self-love challenge, which was brilliant.
Yes, we did a self-love challenge, which Sabine joined in February. So I'm on my business page. I have a business page, Lucy Tobias, shaman, manifesting coach, spiritual mentor. If you put in Lucy Tobias, shaman, you'll find me. And then there's also my group, which I believe there's a link attached to this video, which is called Be You Now. And in there, that's my free group. So I have regular videos where I share with clients about tools that can help them along the journey, along the path.
Yeah, fabulous. Yeah, so ladies, join the group. Lucy's is doing fabulous challenges. I think you're also in their live from time to time and you know, nudging us and giving some fantastic advice as well on that and just really thoughtful little nudges there that I see popping up from time to time as well.
That's it, exactly. Yeah, so I'll be live in there today talking about a tool that you can use when you have negative emotions and that can really support your mental health. I believe it's Mental Health Awareness Week this week. So yeah.
It is, yeah. So it's very topical that we're actually talking about stress and, you know, and also what you were talking about, being aligned with, you know, everything you do. And I guess what if you apply, you know, your principles, then I think that means that we're less stressed in life because we are doing the things that we're completely aligned with and we're understanding where, you know, things are coming from as well.
Exactly, and we're able to step forward to the things that we want. We're able to flow. You know, a key thing with shamanic work is being in balance, and that's what I support my clients to be. As the shaman in Peru call it, Aini, right relations, balance.
I can imagine. That's another story for another time, going to Peru.
Yes, thank you so much, Sabine. It's been amazing, and yeah, great to speak to you. And I look forward to hearing the others. There's some amazing other women.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Lucy. It's been a real pleasure, and I'm sure we'll talk soon.
Yeah, I look forward to it. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. So I'm gonna just check in. We've got the amazing Saroj coming on in a minute. I'm just going to send her the link. Let me see. Saroj, are you ready to come in? Just going to send you a link. In the meantime, if any of you have any questions, please leave them in the comment, because obviously we'd like to have the conversation, questions for our guests as well. We'll also be able to go back in the comments and answer. So Saroj has just sent you the link. So if you're ready to come in, feel free to come in, and we're going to talk about business tools, which is one of my favorites. It's one of my favorites. And ladies, this is all going to go into the Greatness Club, which is launching in May. So we've got a fantastic membership already in the pipeline, where we put all this information in. All the speakers will be coming in, and we'll have more and more training. We'll have mini challenges as well. So the link for the Greatness Club is also in the description. So I'd love you to come and join also after the party, right? And so Roger's here. Fantastic.
Hello. I'm just hello, how are you?
Oh, I'm so excited, Saroj, because we're going to talk about business tools. And for all the entrepreneurs that are here today, I'm sure it's going to be really, really valuable, because we all want to streamline our business, right?
That's right.
Yeah, it's about it's almost like, because we can't work 24 hours in our business, but we want to be visible 24 hours. So Saroj is going to help us to demystify the enormity of creating a successful business, because it's really overwhelming, right? Because we can use powerful tools that will lead us to success, I guess, quicker. And that's a good thing. I can actually talk about that as well, because I've implemented those tools. I'm implementing those with my clients as well. So I think it's going to be a fabulous conversation. So.
We're talking business.
Yeah, we're talking business. If you don't mind, I'd like you to come on the stage and just introduce yourself, whilst I'm just going for the little toilet break, because I'm here for 3 hours and I always have a break around about this time. But it's your show now, Saroj. I'll be back.
Thank you.
I will be back.
Well, thank you, Sabine, for that wonderful introduction, basically, of, my name's Saroj Kumari. I'm a motivational speaker and a business trainer. And I am talking basically about how we're going to build our businesses and what challenges and struggles that we've had to put systems in place. So basically, a little bit about me and why I decided to do a chat and a talk about this. Simply because I don't know about anybody else in business. As far as I know, I have been running many different businesses, from a beauty salon to marketing and MLM. And one of my challenges was to understand and to get to grips with making sure that you have a customer base and a client base that you can continue to contact to build your profits. Now, I don't know about anybody else. There is such a big overwhelm with building your business and also having systems in place. And as I started out many moons ago, over probably 14 years, as a beauty salon, running a beauty salon, but also going into the MLM field and understanding systems and why we have to have them in place, couldn't do it. The technology, the training, the systems were just driving me crazy. And I'm thinking, I don't know. I did not have a mentor, or if I did have a mentor, they were busy. And well, what does capture page mean? What does get response mean? What does autoresponders mean? And I'm like, whoa. And it took me ages to understand. I'm not a quitter. That's why I'm a motivational speaker. But at the end of the day, the information was not there. The training wasn't there. And the reason and the understanding of the importance of it. So that's why I decided to do a chat on this, and a fundamental tool for your business. No matter what anybody says, if you don't have systems in place, your business, unfortunately, is not going to grow. And it has to happen.
It is hard. And I would say, I mean, it's not about making it overly complex, because it happened to me when I was overwhelmed about sales funnels and pages and autoresponders. And it's like, you know, you can actually go over the top and have all kinds of gadgets in your business.
That's right.
Are not needed, right?
That's right.
It's about keeping it real, but a little bit of automation is really, really handy, I guess, especially when you're starting to reach out online. And even though, I mean, I started off networking offline, right? And then you come home with a bunch of business cards, and what do you do with them, right? It's already something there. Like, do you do something with the business cards? And obviously now we've got GDPR rules coming in, you know, where there's certain, you know, procedures and things,
rules and regulations
with the business cards. We have to lock them up in a safe place, and it's, you know, we've got to have permission to sort of get people on our email list. So it's not so easy anymore. But obviously, you know, we should harness the time that we spend connecting with potential customers, getting leads, and then follow up with them, right? And that's the whole essence about, let's put a couple of systems in place, even if they're really, really simple, even if it's a checklist that you've got on your desk, right? I mean, obviously you have all of the flashy tools with autoresponders and CRM databases where you put all the information in, but not everyone needs that, right? It's about, what do you need to make your business work, and a little bit automation will go a long way.
I totally agree, Sabine. But I think the way I'm saying is that you could come home and bring those cards and do nothing. And you said the right words here. Follow up is crucial for your business. And if you're not following them up, I remember saying to somebody I spoke to recently, and he was saying, well, what do I need to do that for? I said, imagine you've been studying your business, what you want to build in the future, and you were coming into possible clients all throughout that time. And if you didn't have their details, how are you going to contact them? How are you going to build your business when you are ready now? And the thing is, no matter what anybody says, your list is your tool to build your business, no matter what anybody says. So firstly, I would recommend you have to build the list. But also, if you don't know how to keep in touch with them or contact them, or what to say and how to say it and how to put it across, this is where I feel the systems need to be in place for you to do it and save you time and money and to make more profit. That's why we're in business, right?
Exactly. Now, let's just go back one step, because there may be, obviously, you know, many different ladies watching at some point in time where one is a bit more advanced and already knows everything about list building, and maybe there are other ladies that say, well, what list are you talking about, right? So I have also a little opinion about the list building. I mean, list building essentially is, you know, collecting people's emails and then sending them like a newsletter, or, you know, on a regular basis to keep them informed. And I'd say it's almost like harnessing, obviously, the leads and putting them into one place and putting them into your asset. Because what happens is, if you just, obviously on Facebook, quite often you don't know who's looking at your stuff. And if you don't offer something to them where they can put in their email addresses, then you're kind of losing that potential lead.
That's right.
And also with Facebook is, well, if you're a bit naughty, like I was a bit naughty yesterday because I was sharing the invitation to this live event to quite a number of my friends, legitly, and then Facebook locked me out. And I was like, whoa. It just goes to show this can happen anytime, that, you know, the platform can shut you down. And even if you have built an amazing Facebook group, or you've got built up friends on your profile, they could be gone overnight. It's always a risk. So building a list or harnessing emails is a good thing. And obviously, I don't know, you've seen my bot as well. I'm also using the messaging bots where people can sign up for reminders, and it goes directly into an inbox, which is quite handy, because quite often, unfortunately, email goes into spam, especially when you have a like Hotmail or Google Mail. They already automatically categorize certain emails into promotions without you wanting it to go into promotions, right? That's right. Which is a shame, because a lot of people actually don't see your emails and your value, and that you're sending them obviously fabulous stuff. That's the essence of building an email list, so that you provide value. You have a sequence in place that nurtures people to get to know you, to like you and trust you, and obviously at some point they may want to work with you, right?
Yeah, that's right. And it is, you've hit a spot there, really, Sabine. The whole idea is not to spam them, and not to give that overwhelm that, this person's trying to sell. I don't sell. I don't want to sell. That's not what the idea is. The idea is to attract the right clients for your business who want your service. And once they say, yes, I'm interested, it's about creating that like, know, and trust with your clients and customers, or people who are interested. And basically, you don't want to reach the world, because the world is not going to all be your clients. There's going to be a selected few. And it's about understanding the niche that you have and the type of client that you want. And as somebody said, your avatar, what does your client look like? So then once you know what your client looks like, then they're going to be attracted to you and want to come in knocking on your door. And I've actually had that happen, which is quite interesting. I gave a business card out to somebody, him knocking on my door, giving me his business card. Then he wanted information, hello, and then I didn't get around to seeing him because I didn't understand. And he came again the second time. But you know what? Now this person is in my business, and we work together. So I obviously must have done the right thing, even if it was just a quick conversation, but he was persistent as well, but not too salesy. And that's really important. That's why the systems have to be in place. You've done all the hard work on your website, your webinar, your YouTube, your Facebook and everything. If you're not saying to them, having a call to action, then you're wasting your time.
Yeah, you need,
and I think that's really important. Very, very important. And if you don't have that in place, your business is not going to grow, and that's what we're here for, and that's what it's about. So I think you've got to have these things in place, whether you choose to use Facebook bots or a Facebook page or webinars. Like you're doing, Sabine, you're doing a fantastic job, by the way. We've had some amazing subjects.
We had technical problems, didn't we?
A little bit, but you're still doing a great job and bringing everybody together. And it is about working in collaboration as well with each other.
Yeah,
so it is about.
And I feel like as the online market is growing so much more, it's ever so important to actually be personable and be there on video and reaching out personally as well. I mean, can you remember the times when you got your very first email and you actually had to dial in with the dial tone online?
I do remember, but couldn't be bothered at the time.
and just receiving that first email, and every time I think I was checking my emails like twice a week back then, and it was such an excitement, such a buzz to get an email. and I was just thinking, like, where's how have we sort of grown into, like, now it's like I get like 10 emails a minute, and I'm just typing them because there's a lot of people that I don't want to hear from. They just sell.
Yeah.
And that's where we need to make a difference and say, well, it's not about selling, it's about bringing value. It's about really providing what they want. And so there are a few people that I'm subscribed to that every time they're sending me an email, I'm opening it up and I'm reading or I'm listening to their videos, because I know what they provide is really fabulous. And they don't spam me every day. That like it's once a month, and I'm quite happy with that.
And that will switch people off as well, and that's really important, because nobody wants to be sold to. You know. And I always use a fantastic example of if you go to a cake shop and somebody's vegan and somebody just eats everything. So my vegan friend's not going to eat a cake with egg and everything else. She's going to only eat the vegan cake. But if you're shoving the normal cake in her face, then she's not going to want it. And it's the same thing with putting yourself out there. It's attracting the right person that wants your product, no matter what that may be. It is about them attracting and to you, but also they want to like, know, and trust you and building that relationship. And that's what the emails can do. That's what the bots can do. And also finding out whether, not just about them working with you, you want to be able to work, want to like, and want to work with them. I think that is really, really important. And, you know, somebody might say, well, you have two people that can do the same thing, but you're not resonating with that person. And if you're not, it's just not going to happen. So it's about putting yourself out there, showing people what you do. And if they like you, they will sign up to your email or your bot or whatever. And that's crucial.
And that's the beauty, Saroj, you know. I mean, a lot of entrepreneurs may think, oh, you know, there's so much competition. Everyone's already doing what I want to offer. I'm saying, well, it's not quite like that. I mean, if you go to the library, there's hundreds of books written on marketing. You know, does that stop people writing more books about marketing? That just shows that it's a popular subject. And again, not everyone will pick up the same book because they don't resonate with that image or the way it's written or the font or the thickness. And so it's the same thing about working with someone like you and me, right? As we are coaching in business and automation, startups, growth, that some people resonate, you know, with one better than the other, or we're doing slightly different things. We're coming from different angles. We have different energies that we bring into our businesses. So in theory, there isn't really competition.
No.
We all stay in our lane, right? And it's about showing our zone.
Greatness.
Right? Yeah. And be fearless.
Our greatness.
Be fearless. That's the next time we'll talk about being fearless. Or Robin, how can we be fearless in business?
Sorry?
How can we
in
business?
Oh, I think we need to do a talk on that one. That'll be really fun.
But yeah, in terms of automation, I mean, it's definitely, you know, it's definitely a good thing to have some sort of automation or some sort of lead harnessing in the front end so that you can then follow up. And I think it's also about being consistent. It's not about just doing it once and then once a month and then there's nothing. It's about doing a little bit every single day and just
every single day,
out there every single time, and always have a call to action.
Yeah, well, I think that's basically what we're talking about. It's the call to action. What does that actually mean? Some people say, well, I don't know what that means. And what I usually say is, you know, it's like when I had my beauty salon, I was upstairs. So nobody really knew unless they looked up or they looked at my A-board, right? So they were walking past. So that, what I call, is traffic, okay? Just people walking by, yeah? So then I wanted to get them in and attract them. They might have seen my A-board. Oh, I like that. They had to go through the corridor, up the stairs, and come in and give them their details or inquire. That's when they're looking at the website. But the moment that they fill in their details and book an appointment, now they're on my list. So traffic is all the people going by, and the people that come through the door and book an appointment is part of your list. And some people don't understand what that means, but hopefully when you put it into that context, it's easier for people to understand. And the thing is, it's like having a salon and nobody comes into the salon and you don't have any clients. There's no point having a website if nobody looks at your website and doesn't contact you.
Or if you don't share your website, right? If you're not getting out there and you're sharing or talking about it.
Yeah. So it's crucial for your business to grow, but to also to have a call to action for those that are interested in you, are attracted to what you are doing, what your product and service is, and to be able to build that relationship with them, to build that like, know, and trust that they're going to want to work with you, because that's going to happen in your initial emails or communication, or to make a consultation or whatever that may be, because it's not going to happen maybe straight away. Or it could be so they could lead them to a video or somewhere, or a meeting or training. And that's the whole idea, because as we were doing the Facebook Live, the questions was, how do we contact this person? What do we need to say? And, you know, where is it? So they're actually asking. You're now attracting the right type of people that want your business. And then you're not selling.
Yeah.
You're saying, this is what I do, and I'm ready. And that's what they're saying. I'm ready.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. You know, it's about having that in place. But when I didn't understand that before, you know, as importantly, I just thought, oh, I'll have a salon and they'll come through the door. No, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's about them being attracted to you. And, you know, I've built a great business and worked online and built some great teams, you know, doing different subjects as well. But it's also, you could have a different offer. You could have different things that you're doing, events, and letting them know. It's not just about creating that database. It's about keeping in touch, keeping it really simple.
And it's about, because let's face it, who would buy on the first touch point?
Who would buy? And not really. They say, even with a leaflet through the door, I think you have to see 15 times or something crazy like that. And I'm sure it's even more. So leaflets are not working. Yeah. And even, I don't want to put people off, but even online stuff is a challenge, because you have so much distraction. You've got the TV, they might have the phone, they might have a tablet, they might be watching right now, and they're still picking up the phone and looking at the phone.
Exactly. And so, it's always there, right? I mean, okay, Facebook, you kind of lose it because it goes in the news feed, but with others like YouTube channel, you know, or your blog, people will be able to refer back to that.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're not creating that call to action there and then they're gone. You've all done all that work and they're gone. And it's a matter of keeping them engaged with you. That's what it's about. And helping them understand. There
is a bit of a backdoor when it comes to Facebook, right?
A backdoor. Which one are you talking about, Sabine?
Well, which is obviously anyone that engages with you on your business page, you know, comments, shares, likes, you can actually retarget those people with another call to action or an offer. So that's beautiful as well.
Oh, somebody else has logged in. Okay.
Okay, so we'll probably have to restart the I'm not sure what Lateefah is on in about half an hour. So
okay. That's okay.
All right, no,
technology. Love technology.
Things happen, right?
So what I'm doing to help people to do is to basically make sure they have a system in place where they can create a capture page. And believe me, before it was hours. And when I came across this system, I created it in 15 minutes.
Wow.
And 15 minutes, and it's so simple. It can be even less if I wasn't training someone, but it's really, really simple. And the thing is, if you have that in place, it'll be easier for people to connect with you, and that's the most important thing. And you want to save time, yeah, and you want to keep in touch with your clients. This is why you need to have these kind of systems in place so you can build that relationship. It's really, really important. And I'm just excited because I know there's so much out there that you can use, but you want to use something that's, especially if you're new in business, it's not going to cost an arm and a leg. Yeah. And it's, and you're not going to have that system and that system and that system. Here, everything is in one place. And sometimes I can't believe how much there is actually there, what you can actually do.
Exactly. So what would you recommend to start with for a newbie?
What would I recommend? Basically, there is lots of different autoresponders. There's lots of systems that create capture pages, but you need something that will create a capture page that they can link with you and your details and your website. Okay. That's the basics. And then but you need to have a system that will provide that. However, there are some systems that will, as your list gets bigger, they'll charge you more. So with the system that I use, they just charge the flat rate. So and what I'm doing is they offer 7 days of using the system for free. Yeah. But what I'm going to do is offer that a capture page for them to use for a month. Okay. So that's what I'm going to do. But I reckon if you don't have that in place, then you're talking to people and you have nothing to give to them. You can give you a business card, but how many times have you kept a business card in a drawer, in your handbag, in a place, and then sometimes you don't even hear from anybody and all of a sudden you might get an email. That's not why you're networking. That's not why you're doing your YouTube channel. You're here to build your business and to grow, and you need to grow exponentially. And by having that system in place, you can do that.
Cool. Right, yeah. I think Lateefah, you want to join us now?
Can I just say, Sabine, sorry, I don't know if we're all right for time. I'm actually creating a group as well. I did put a link for you to send so that if they go on to that link, so that they can go on to that. And then I'm creating a Facebook group as well, where I will be giving support if they're not sure basically what to do. I'll be doing a couple of videos on how they can use and the importance of using capture pages and these kind of systems to put that in place. So I'll do sort of like I haven't decided how, but I will be doing that. But if they sign up to that link, I will send the information.
Okay.
So,
cool.
But finding
what do you call it? It's business automation.
Yeah, I just call it like how to get more client system. Basically, it's just you've got to keep it simple because nobody wants big words. No. They don't want complicated sentences and lines. Get more leads is what I've called the page. Get what else is there? You've got to keep it really, really simple. But at the same time, it's also about having the right terminology and when you're speaking to the people and what you're saying, having that rapport. And knowing about all that as well, that's crucial for building your business. If you're saying the wrong thing, bye-bye. They won't want to come and see you again.
Exactly.
But that's it.
No, exactly. You want to, and you want to be yourself, right? You want to be authentic as well.
Yeah. You can't pretend who you are.
Yeah.
You can't be somebody else, and you can't pretend who you are.
Yeah, and that actually turns me off when I get only offers and there's no value in the emails or in the videos. So, and when they don't really understand who you are, it's just about getting to know your audience as well and listening to them and giving them what they need.
Yes. Well, I'll be giving some tips on the group and pulling that together anyway. So we'll have some chats and we'll have more information later on as well as we go along, and I'm sure we'll do more about this because it's a crucial part of our business, about your mindset in terms of business. Yes, we will have stress, and we've had some great subject areas. When you're in business, you've got to have this business attitude that takes you to a different level, but doesn't mean that if you're not there, you haven't arrived. It just means you need to adjust your mindset in terms of business, which I'm sure you understand as well.
Exactly.
So we can have a great conversation about that.
Fabulous.
Okay, it looks like Lateefah wants to get on very quickly.
Yeah, I'm just checking. It's Aubrey at the moment. So Aubrey, if you're here, if you're listening, can you just leave me a little comment? And Lateefah, if you hear us, can you just wave? Because we've got now Aubrey talking about fear, and Lateefah, we can see a wonderful ceiling. So
all right, well, thank you anyway for today.
It's been Saroj for coming on, and I've just put the link there for the group. So it's called How to Get More Client System. So join Saroj, getting more leads and conversions. Conversionpros.com. Fabulous. I love it.
Yeah. So basically, you know, I want to say thank you, Sabine, for all your great efforts. You've put together some great panels and great inspiration, and overcoming a lot of challenges, connecting people. That's what it's about, and that's what I talk about. iEvolve Business is my business, and you can go and check that out on the website as well, or Facebook. But it's about evolving to a better person as yourself, and if you do that for you, then you can do that for other people as well, and we can all collaborate. It's about us. It's I, you, and we. That's what we do.
Exactly. Fabulous. Thank you.
It's collaboration. Thank you.
Lots of love.
Thank you, darling. Fabulous. Thank you to everyone watching as well. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Right. So, I think Lateefah was a little bit confused with regards to how to get onto the Zoom call, because I had posted the link. But we'll hopefully see her in about 20 minutes. I'd love to call in Aubrey. Aubrey, are you there? I'm going to just message you the link again in case you can't find it. So thank you so much for Saroj talking about business systems and about automation. I think it's so important to, you know, have some sort of automation in your business to harness the leads as well that you're getting, because obviously, you know, if people come onto your website or just onto your Facebook page, you don't know, you've always got to have some sort of call to action, some offer, some invitation. So let's see, Aubrey, if you are there, I'm just going to share the link again. That should work. And I'm just going to do it introduction. Hi. Okay, you found it. Fantastic. Hi, Aubrey. How are you? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I can hear you. Are you good?
Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
Okay. You can't hear me through Zoom then?
I'm great. How are you?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me? Yes.
Okay. Fabulous.
Okay.
I can hear me twice now because you're watching on your phone, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, fabulous. Right, I'll just do a little introduction. Okay. So Aubrey is going to talk about living a fearless and free life. And she is the fear guru who helps women overcome the fear that holds them back in their business. And I most importantly was very interested about, you know, what sort of fears can come up for us. And I think it's not just in business, but it's generally in life, about money, about relationships. And Aubrey will talk about how, you know, what would it mean actually to be able to live fearlessly, right? We can actually think about that for a moment, and how can we actually do this? Then Aubrey is going to talk about why we actually feel fear, and what's the difference between good fear and limiting fear, and then how we can actually make that transformation. So I'm super excited, Aubrey.
Thank you. Yay.
So we've only got about 20 minutes because I think Lateefah is already really up for coming in. So I'll just see if I'm just going to ask a quick question. If she's ready at 20 past, we'll swap over.
Okay.
Because the Zoom will shut down.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Okay, so what's the first question? Do you want me to just introduce myself?
Yeah, so let's talk about, what sort of fears can come up really in life and
like for business, there's a fear of like investing in yourself, the fear of like really putting yourself out there, really being seen. And for a long time I was like, oh, I'm putting myself out there, but I really wasn't. I was like kind of, but you have to be like really consistent and consistently show up. And there was that fear there for me of like being seen, fear of receiving like negative feedback from people, somebody leaving a negative comment or something. So I was really scared to like actually put myself out there and receive any kind of negative like feedback.
Yeah. It's about the feedback, isn't it? It's about the judgment. Yeah. But I think we kind of, we think that we overthink, we criticize ourselves, but it may not be true.
Yes. I just did a live video about that, like about the fear of being judged, and like literally no one's even thinking about you. Like if someone spends 30 seconds judging you and then they go back to thinking about themselves or their own life, like what's 30 seconds of someone's negative opinion? Why is that going to hold you back?
Exactly.
So I really just like love to help women put fear into perspective, because it's always scarier like in your head than it is in reality. And so I believe that there's like the root fears, which is like the fear of the outcome, like fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough. And then there's the little things that it comes up in, like the fear of going live could be stemmed from, fear of rejection or fear of being judged or fear of failing. So there's kind of like the root fears of where they all stem from. And then, they pop up in different areas, like, oh, I'm scared to do this, but really it's tied to this deeper fear of like fear of failure, fear of rejection, or whatever.
Yeah.
So like getting to the root of it, is where you can actually start to make a difference and start to like overcome it, because if you have a fear of rejection, that's going to affect more than just like fear of going live or fear of putting yourself out there. It's going to affect all areas because it's stemming from that fear of rejection.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's an interesting one, because you don't really want to hold yourself back because of that. And, and it's not a reflection of you. It's about you imagining things as well most of the time.
It's
what if
like your ego, its job is to protect you. Protect you from any kind of risk, whether it's like it obviously has a good job. It stops you from giving your house away, and it stops you from going to like pet a wild bear, but then it doesn't draw the line there. Like it has to stop you from anything that's a risk, whether it's an emotional risk or like a physical risk. So, being rejected is a lot less dangerous than like going to touch a bear, but your ego just reacts the same. Like, we're going to die, like that crazy fear, So, like learning to make the differentiation between, is this actually dangerous, or like, is this just out of my comfort zone? Is this uncomfortable? That's where you can like, is this gonna, like, is this just out of my comfort zone, or is this like something that's really like I'm not supposed to do?
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're risking your life or something like this, right? But like going live, like for example, talking about business, the fear in business, like doing a live or putting your opinion across, that you're not gonna die really. It's more about the fear of being judged, or maybe getting some negative comments.
It's still that like fear. the emotional risk, you know, like you might be judged, and your ego wants to protect you from anything that's going to like damage, you know, any of that. So that's why it reacts the same way. And so like, you know, being fearless isn't never feeling fear, because we all are going to feel fear at every stage in our lives. Like at every next level, there's going to be new fears and new limitations that we have to, you know, go through. But it's not the fact that you never feel fear, because that's like not going to happen. But it's just that you don't let that fear limit you, that you look at the fear and it's like, yes, I'm scared. Yes, you know, I have all these doubts and all these crazy thoughts going on. That's like, I can't do this. What if this happens? What if this happens? But what if this happens? But it's like, I don't care. I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to do it anyways. And like, that's being fearless, is just not letting it hold you back and not letting it stop you from like what you really want, you know, because like 99% of the time that fear is just like stopping you from where you really want to go. You know, your fear is not looking out for your highest good. It's looking out for like the right now, what's the safest thing right now. But it's not looking at the big picture of like your highest success and your highest happiness, you know. So learning to like just push through that will get you through it, you know. There's lots of things that I help people with to like change your perspective on it and to really push themselves through it. But in the end, you're going to have to face that fear to get to the other side of it. You know, it's not just going to like magically go away and then you're like, okay, I'm not scared now, so now I'm going to do it. You know, like for example, going live, because I just made a course about getting over the fear of going live. So it's like really fresh example for me. It's like, you know, I could give you every strategy and every tip and every like perspective change and confidence builder. But in the end, you still have to like to do it in order to realize it's not that bad. You're not going to die if you do it, you know.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, and yeah, exactly. And just deal with the situation as it comes, and maybe not taking things so serious and having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And getting like a lot of self-awareness really helps, because your fear has the most power when you don't try to understand it and when you don't question it. So if you start asking questions like, what's the worst thing that could happen if I went live? Like literally, and really go through that scenario, like journal it out. Like, what's the absolute worst thing that I'm afraid of that could happen? You know, somebody could say, I don't know what I'm talking about. Somebody could say I'm stupid, or I could forget what I'm saying entirely and, you know, just blank out, or, you know, whatever the fears are there, like really go through it and like make it a real scenario. Like imagine the worst case scenario happening and realizing like on the other side of that, you're still going to be okay. You're still going to survive that, and you're going to get through it no matter what. So, like one of the most profound things that I've ever heard, for one of my favorite books, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyways, is, like we're afraid because we think we can't handle what we're afraid of. So you think you can't handle being judged. You think you can't handle being rejected or whatever. But you can, and like empowering yourself to like believe in yourself so much that you know you can handle it if somebody says something mean about you. On the other side of that, you're still going to be okay. You're still going to be you, and it didn't change anything about you.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly, 100%. I'm 100% with you. And it's so fabulous to actually talk about fear, because a lot of times we don't really talk about it because we're actually scared of talking about fear.
Yes,
it's about shoving it under the carpet and like, you know, but it's really about dealing with those emotions and dealing and really thinking about, well, what's the worst thing that can happen?
Yeah.
Literally, what is it?
The fear always seems way worse in your mind. And when you start asking questions, it's like, that's all I'm afraid of. Like, so what? You know, on the other side, you're still going to be okay. And, you know, I love to be real, and I love to talk about my fears, you know, with my audience. And I'm like, I'm really scared, you know, of this, or I'm scared to, you know, make this investment, or, you know, whatever it is, whatever fear I'm dealing with, so that I can show them, you know, like, no matter what level you're at, you're still going to deal with them, and it's okay. You just want to like get a lot of self-awareness about it and really like just move through your fear. Don't let it hold you back. Just keep asking questions and keep like, you know, breaking it apart. Why am I so afraid? What's the worst that could happen? You know, and the more that you do that, the more you'll realize like you really can handle whatever it is that's coming your way. And like 90% of the time, the worst case scenario never happens anyways, you know?
That's so true. And interestingly, I guess when I was speaking to Lucy earlier, who's, you know, manifestation coach, it's about, I guess, what you focus on will expand. And if you are focusing on that fear, then, well, it may actually happen to you. Most of the time it doesn't, but
because that's the energy you're sending out. So that's what you're, exactly. I just talked about this in my live. Also, the fear to get over the fear of being judged is like, you know, focus on the good. If you're worried about one person judging you, like, who cares about that one person? For every one person that's going to judge you or say something bad about you, there's 100 people that you're impacting and that you're helping and who love and support you. So like, don't even think about them. They're not even worth like your energy. Just focus on the good, focus on all the good things that can happen. And it's also another thing I do with my clients is to create like their big, beautiful vision. Like, what are you chasing? What's your why? And like create it all in a circle and just write down every good thing that's going to come from, you know, their business and the life that they're chasing, the dream that they're chasing, and make that so big that all the fears just like blur out on the outside of that big circle, because like, it doesn't matter what I have to go through. This is where I'm going, and I know that I'm going to get there. That's all I'm focusing on.
Yeah. It's about seeing what's behind it. It's about feeling and visualizing what's on the other side. If I break through this, what beautiful things lie ahead.
Yeah. And it makes like all the little fears and everything like so worth going through, because you know that, you know, where you're going is bigger than all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I love it, Aubrey. You know, and you've got this cute energy as well, you know. I don't know how else to describe it, but you are, so sweet as well.
And so passionate because like, I'm not showing up here like, oh, you can live your life without any fear and it's all great, because I've never felt fear. I was held back for so long because of my fear, you know. I was scared to do anything, you know, so I just did nothing because I was scared to receive any kind of negative feedback. I was so scared for people to judge me or people to reject me. And these were my like deep rooted fears. And, you know, I thought I was going to die if I went on a live video, you know. And that's why I'm so passionate to show up and help people, because I understand like 100% where you're at right now. And I'm proof that, you know, you can get to the other side of it, and that you can, you know, live your life fearlessly. Not that you don't feel fear, but that you don't let it hold you back from where you really want to go.
That's important, not to let you hold back. Yeah,
exactly.
Just be aware, accept the fears, but don't let them hold you back.
Yeah, but don't judge yourself for having them either. You know, it's not bad to feel fear. It's normal, and it's what you're supposed to. You know, that's your ego's job. But like, let your ego's just the backseat driver, and you're the driver of your life. So don't let the backseat driver control you. You know, you're still in control of what you do. And even though it's over here talking, like, you're still in control. So like, taking that control back of your life.
Oh, fabulous. Thank you so much, Aubrey. That's been beautiful. And I think you've got something for us as well. Your website is femfearless.com.
Yes. And I also have a Facebook group, Fearless Boss Babes. And I go live in there like 3 to 4 times a week just to talk all about fear and overcoming like specific fears. So
ladies, join Aubrey's Facebook group. I think it's going to be fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on and talking about.
Thank you so much.
So,
it's been great. It's been great. Thank you.
That's not okay. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, really. It's been a pleasure to pulling this together.
It's been a pleasure for me too.
And it's just amazing to have a variety of women come and talk about, you know, their zone of genius. And I think we can impact and help so many other ladies on their journey as well, because, you know, where else, you know, people need to know where we talk about certain things in life, about, you know, everyday things that happen to us, but which is just not always being talked about. And there needs to be places where you can have those conversations
about so many different things, you know, for people that are going through so many different things.
Exactly. And it's beautiful to have the technology, the internet available to actually be able to reach out and to provide those resources for these beautiful souls that actually do need the help. And, you know, and from that point of view, I'm really, really glad to have, you know, online resources available and that we can make that impact around us.
Yeah, for sure.
Good. Thank you so much, Aubrey. It's been a real pleasure.
Yes, it's been a pleasure for me. Thank you so much.
Fabulous guest. Bye.
Bye.
So thank you, Aubrey. If Dr. Lateefah is around, we'd like to invite you now onto the Zoom. I know you are so eager to come in a bit early. I'm just going to make sure you've got the correct link. So when you're ready, Lateefah, you can join us. We will be talking about, making the shift in your life or your relationship. So Dr. Lateefah is a love and relationship coach, and I'm looking forward to have you on the show, and hopefully it works out with the technology. So whilst I'm waiting for Dr. Lateefah, I'm just going to do a little summary around what we've heard. And if you've joined us a little bit later and you want to just go back and watch a couple of snippets of the other speakers, then, you know, please feel free. It's been a fabulous afternoon with a number of guests already. We started off a little bit late today because I was supposed to come on like 11:45, but then the technology played up, so my part was a little bit cut a bit short. We then were speaking to Samaya, who was talking about 3 ways blogging for your business can supercharge your visibility and impact. And then Samaya was actually also sharing with us that she's going to do a 5-day free challenge, which is in her Facebook group. And the link to sign up for that is actually in the description. So I'd really encourage you, if you'd like to use blogging for your business and you don't know how to get started, Samaya will show you all the tips and tricks that you need. Okay, so there's a link in the description there. Then we were speaking to Gloria Prest, who is a fabulous hypnotherapist, and she knows everything about stress. And we were talking about how stress could actually affect you physically and also lead to burnout and depression. And we actually demystified some of these terminologies as well, because, you know, I didn't know what was what. So we had a fantastically good conversation around that. And Gloria was really able to pull the strings together and also scientifically explain where stress comes from, so that we know, we're aware of it, and how we can actually do something about stress, so that we're not getting overly stressed and we're not becoming, you know, going into burnout or depression. So Gloria actually has designed a free questionnaire for us. And again, the link is in the description. It's stresslevelquestionnaire.gr8.com, where you can download your free questionnaire and see, you know, how stressed are we, right? So there's a couple of questions. It's a fabulous tool. At 1 o'clock, we were talking to Lucy Tobias, who is a shaman and also a manifestation coach. And we had a fabulous conversation around how energy and alignment can empower you to be authentically be you, and that helps you manifest anything in life. And again, you can join Lucy's Facebook group as well. The link is in the description, because Lucy's doing lots of mini challenges as well. Then at 1:30 we were talking to Saroj Kumari, who is a specialist when it comes to automation in business, and she will be able to help you with the business tools as well. The link is also in the description. And then we just talked to Aubrey Thomas, who was talking about fear and how we can let go of living in fear and what sort of fears can come up in your business. Like, for example, doing a Facebook Live and things going wrong, and about recognizing that, it's not that bad, and you're going to survive, even if you press the button and things do go wrong. It's all about, it's in your mind. It's about your ego trying to keep you safe. And, and it doesn't matter if you're getting judged or not, it's about making the impact, getting yourself out there, being yourself, and giving, all you have, and just showing up for who you are, right? So I've not heard from Dr. Lateefah. Maybe she's got some challenges logging on, but if you're there, then please just comment, because I can't see you. Let me just check. So I can't see that, but anyway, we're just wrapping up in a minute. I just wanted to see if Lateefah is around. Otherwise, we'll have her on one of our next shows. Surely, I'm sure you will be very interested in talking about love and relationships. And we will always have more episodes every second week. Actually, the next one will be on the 8th of May. So make sure 8th of May? No, it's 8th of June. So make sure you pencil in the 8th of June. It will be around about the same time, starting at midday UK time. And we'll have 5 or 6 fabulous ladies coming on and talking about their genius as well. And also, just to let you know, in July, I'm going to put together a full episode just talking about social media. So you want to be there. We got Lateefah in the house. Dr. Lateefah is here. Okay. Hello. Hey.
Is it good?
Hi, now finally we can talk.
I thought I had like 10 more minutes to get here.
Yeah, no, the thing is that because you're using the free Zoom, and if as soon as someone joins, like it gives you like 40 minutes remaining. So we literally have about 10 minutes.
Before I come? Well, my schedule says 6:30 my time.
Yeah.
It's not 30 yet.
Yeah. So
like 6:20 something.
So you got 6:30 in the morning now. So
yeah, almost like 6, like 6:08, like 6 something. I don't know.
Right.
Because I have my phone here. Yeah.
Let's get it started. So so I already did a little introduction, and I said that we're going to talk about the shift, and that you're a love and relationship coach, right? And it's about making a shift. How do I know I'm ready for it? So talk a little bit about the shift, and
Let me tell you,
what you do. The
shift. Okay, so the shift is when in our lives things aren't going right and something needs to change, and the shift is that thing that changes. Whatever in us that is not right, we don't feel quite comfortable, or we're not great in our relationship or with our personal selves, then something needs to happen. And so what that is, you know what it is. And so when I start working with you, we figure out what your problem is. What's that thing that's making you uncomfortable or that's disturbing you? And then we work on that, and that's the shift. Once that thing happened, that thing is the shift. Whatever you need to happen.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So in your relationship, like within you, really, in order to have that impact in your relationship, right?
Yeah. So everything starts with you. So if you're with someone, you bring your whole backstory into the relationship. Mm-hmm. And so if you have issues happening and you haven't resolved them, you bring them undoubtedly into your relationship. And then many times people blame their partner for what's happening with them, but it's not your partner, it's you. So handle what's going on with you. Make that shift with yourself to help have a wonderful relationship.
Mm-hmm.
The first one you need is a nice relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
It's interesting. Yeah, it's about looking at yourself first and how you're taking care of yourself. Because if you're not taking care of yourself, how can you, blossom in a relationship and give to others?
Yes, absolutely. And people want to look at you first. And most people look outside themselves for what they really need. But for all of us, we need to understand that what we need is always inside ourselves. It's not outside of ourselves, which is why many high achievers who have it all, that one thing is missing and they need the shift, but they can't find that thing outside themselves. It's inside. So once they take the time to go inside and really look and assess themselves, then they feel like, oh, I do have it all, but not until then. It won't happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do you work with women to achieve that shift?
Well, they just come. It's just a simple thing. Everything is pretty simple. They just come in or on the phone and we talk. We find out what the problem really is. And then I ask questions and they respond. And then I make them really dig deep and really be honest with themselves, because people aren't. And then finally, when they're honest, we can do the work. Well, okay, then why do you think this? What's going on with that? How can we work with this? Because when I work with you, I'm a coach. So I see the problem or how you're playing the game and help you play it in a better way, help you win. But I can't help you win if you're not honest about how you're playing the game. And then when they're honest, they do the work. They have to, or it won't happen.
Yeah.
I can tell you what to do. I can give you assignments, but if you don't do it, nothing changes. Right. But I like the client that's serious about making the shift, serious about changing, and they'll do the work. That can be challenging sometimes because you don't want to look at yourself if it's not pretty, right? And so it's just as simple though. It's a conversation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then
so usually women come to you when they are, are they when they're looking for love, or when they are in trouble in a relationship? What's the sort of point?
Okay. Well, sometimes in a relationship, okay, here it is. Men and women, they don't communicate openly or honestly because how we've been programmed in the world. But there's a certain way to communicate with each other that the other person can hear you. And even though it's modern times today, how men and women communicate is still old-fashioned in our archetypes, right? So it's really, every man and woman has, like if it's a man, he has a feminine energy inside. It's just how it goes. And women have a masculine energy inside. So whichever energy is dominant, that's the role you play in the relationship.
Okay.
And once both people understand that, it can be almost smooth sailing.
Wow.
Because if it's a man and a woman, but she has masculine energy, it's called animus. And if he's totally masculine, it's not going to work. They'll clash. Someone has to receive and someone has to give.
Okay. Yeah.
The masculine gives and the feminine receives, but that could be, a man can be the feminine.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Okay.
So once they understand who they are and how they feel, and then they can start communicating in that way, and then they can have a beautiful relationship.